The village in it with a map and a plan. No place too tiny for this determined man. Crossing the counties one by one, he'll see in every English corner a bit of history.
The High Peak series is sponsored by Gainsborough Cycles, 01427 617 752. For all your cycling needs, this is your one-stop shop located at 20 Ropery Road, Gainsborough, or online at gainsboroughcycles.com. There's a link in the description. Gainsborough Cycles, ask for Trevor Halstead. Hello folks, welcome back to High Peak once again. Now this is a very small parish, I'm not going to be here very long, there's not a lot to talk about in it quite frankly. It does have one massive landmark though, and that's the place you can see behind me. And at some point in its life, this bottle I've got in my hand would have originated from there. I don't know which shop or anything this came from, but it's been on quite a journey and I've brought it home. This came from Buxton water, and that's exactly what's behind me there in the parish of Green Fairfield. Green Fairfield, green, beautiful, open land. Today in High Peak we're tackling what is the smallest parish in the whole district. It might be tiny, but everyone will know at least one thing this one has within its boundaries, and you might not even realise you do. There's no village here, nor is there an actual walking route. It's far too small for that. But bring yourself to this tiny speck on the Derbyshire landscape and you might find yourself to be quite thirsty. I have a question for you. How many times have you purchased from your local supermarket or shop a bottle of mineral water? I'm willing to bet a lot of you have done just that. You might even have done it today. Selling bottled water is something virtually every general shop in the country does, and it figures because we all need water to live. There are several different brands of course, but we're in Derbyshire here, where there's only one that everyone knows. Buxton. The factory which bottles the famous mineral water is located just outside the town of the same name in the parish of Green Fairfield. Green Fairfield, which is Old English for green, beautiful open land, lies on the eastern outskirts of Buxton and covers the lovely sounding Woodale, the hamlet of Cowlow, a household recycling centre, and the Buxton Mineral Water Factory. The latter of those things will dominate this episode, and we'll dive deep into the history of the plant and how the water from this gorgeous Derbyshire town came to be on all of our supermarket shelves. Other brands are available and all that, but here it's all about Buxton. Let's drink it all in. The parish of Green Fairfield has no village with that name. In terms of any sort of settlement, all it can muster is the hamlet of Cowlow, located on a dead-end track to the southeast of Buxton. Cowlow is only really notable for one thing, and we can't even get to it. That would be a Low Barrow, which is within Tunstead Quarry. The monument includes a mound that measures 29 metres by 25 and stands 1.7 metres high. It's been slightly disturbed by quarrying and has a small hollow in the top, believed to have resulted from a minor excavation carried out prior to 1811, when human bones and ancient implements were found within it. Fairfield is actually a district of Buxton itself, based around a former medieval village which is now within the town. It's at the head of a narrow dry gorge called Cunningdale, which is part of the Wye Valley Site of Special Scientific Interest. The name Fairfield derives from the Germanic Fagerfeld, meaning fair open land, because of its good volcanic soil for pasture. Cistercian monks and Benedictine nuns founded monastic granges at Fairfield in the early 1200s. Green Fairfield might not have had any of those, but it still fits the bill when it comes to that fair, open land. In some ways, Fairfield would have made a cracking TVI episode, but because it's in an unparished area, Green Fairfield is all we're left with. For example, Fairfield would have had us talking about a chapel which was built between 1240 and 1255, and a church which was built in 1595, the latter to be replaced by the present St Peter's. John Wesley visited Fairfield in September 1784 too. Fairfield was an area of the town heavily linked to sports. George Kitchen, the Everton, West Ham and Southampton goalkeeper, was born in Fairfield in 1876. The area also once had a racecourse too, which was on Fairfield Common. It was established centuries ago as common grazing land. It was originally known as the Barnes Common. From 1821, horse racing and cockfighting meetings were held each year in June. The Duke of Devonshire commissioned a grandstand building which stood in the 1830s. It went on to be known as Buxton Racecourse, but it closed in 1840 and the grandstand was pulled down. Still in existence is Buxton and High Peak Golf Club, which was founded in 1887 after a 9-hole course was laid out on Fairfield Common in 1886. The course was extended to 18 holes in 1893. The 9th par 5 hole is called Standside, which refers to the area where the racecourse's grandstand once stood. Fairfield Holt Railway Station was opened between 1907 and 1939. It was built on the Buxton to Manchester line to serve the golf club. But of course, none of that is within Green Fairfield. Green Fairfield is the area directly to the east of it all, and it has 2 main landmarks. One of them is a household waste recycling centre located on this small industrial estate. It's honestly not all that special, but work with me here, there's not a lot in this one. Water Swallow's recycling centre takes its name from the road that runs through the area. It's a council tip, so there isn't really a lot I can tell you about it, but this is a short episode, so here's some stats I found. According to a report published in 2021, High Peak's recycling rate stands at 50.8%, which is the 4th highest in the East Midlands region. In addition, High Peak has the 4th lowest amount of residual household waste by the kilogram. Weirdly though, the cost of recycling here is the 3rd highest in the region at £1.4 million, whilst waste collection costs are amongst the lowest 20% of councils nationally at £776,000. I often wonder where stats like that come from, but don't shoot the messenger, those are official numbers. I wonder how many plastic bottles get recycled here. A certain type of plastic bottle begins its journey not far from here. Well, so far we haven't seen much in the way of that green, open, beautiful land, have we? Mind you, where I'm parked here, there's a bit behind me there, so I suppose there is some of it in places in this particular parish. This particular bit of green, open land you can find opposite the Buxton Water Factory. Let's talk about that next. I'm willing to bet that many of you have bought a bottle of Buxton mineral water in your time, and this is where it comes from. Drinking water from the ancient St Anne's Spring has been bottled for sale here since the 19th century. In the 1850s it was sold in glass pint bottles, but these days you're probably going to be buying this in a plastic 1 or 1.5 litre container. It's still the same stuff. Whilst the commodity itself might be the same, one thing that has changed since the 19th century is where the bottling plant is located. In 1992, Nestle acquired the Buxton Mineral Water Company, and 20 years later they opened this brand new plant at Water Swallows. The water today is piped from St Anne's Spring, which is 2 miles away. A trademark for bottled Buxton water was registered by the Buxton Mineral Water Company in 1876. The trademark was embossed in a diamond shape on its original glass Hamilton bottles. To retain the effervescence of the water, the bottles used a rubber seal and a sliding marble within their necks. From the 1920s, soda siphons, or seltzer bottles as they're alternatively known, became popular for buyers of Buxton water. During the latter part of the 20th century, there was a move to screw-cap glass bottles and more recently plastic bottles. Buxton has for centuries been known for its water. Indeed, even the Romans knew it was important. The Roman settlement of Aqua Arnamentia was based around St Anne's Spring. Aqua Arnamentia literally means waters of Arnamentia, Arnamentia being the Romano-British goddess of the sacred grove. St Anne's is a geothermal spring located at the foot of the slopes opposite the Crescent Hotel and the Old Hall Hotel. It rises from about half a mile below the ground, and 250,000 gallons of water flow out of it every day. It emerges at a steady 27 degrees C. Analysis of the water has indicated that it has a high magnesium content and that it originated from 5,000-year-old rainwater. The very same spring water is bottled and sold today as Buxton mineral water. That's crazy, isn't it? Next time you buy a bottle of it, just think you're literally drinking history. Now, this is a bit more like it in terms of the open, green, beautiful land that this parish is apparently named for. Here you can see there's some green fields there between me and the back of the Buxton water plant where I've just been. This is the other side of it. So I've come all the way around via the roads and ended up on this road here. And it's beautiful, it really is. Green, open and beautiful. It's exactly as advertised. Now, there is one more thing within the parish which I haven't actually mentioned yet, but we're not going to actually go and see it properly because I think it's on private land. Behind me here, you can see there's like a little outcrop, a little hill with some concrete structures on them. That is Buxton's former Royal Observer Corps post, but I'm not about to go and wander up there because I think I may be on private land if I do, and I don't want to get done for trespassing, basically. Never fear though, because next week we are going to be seeing one of those things in a different part of the country. We will get up close and personal with it because it's actually a Millennium viewpoint. That's a little mission for you there to see if you can work out which particular Royal Observer Corps post I'm talking about. But for now, we are done with the parish of Green Fairfield, and it's time to move on to the next one. Of course, other brands of mineral water are available, and we'll probably see a few more of those plants around the country. I tell you what though, Buxton, as far as I'm concerned, will always be the premier drinking water for me. One left this week. Join me tomorrow for a similar trip through another tiny parish. Now, just before I go, remember, this video is part of a huge project to visit every civil parish in England. That's more than 10,000. These routes are pre-planned, and due to time constraints, I can't cover every detail or walk down every street. Please don't complain if this video missed something out. I pronounce names how I choose to. I am very aware that local dialect may vary, and I don't take kindly to criticism about this. You've been warned. It's impossible to know everything too. If this video was terrible, make your own. If you're a regular watcher of The Village Idiot, you're not the only one. If you've got a small business, why not use my videos to advertise it? Leave a comment below if you're interested. And finally, thanks for watching this episode, everybody. Give us a like and a subscribe if you've enjoyed this episode, and share it with your friends and relatives. It all helps to keep this mission going. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as The Village Idiot, and I'm out.